John, let's start with you. I mean, was he treated fairly? He's only been in the job 10 months. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, was it?
No, it certainly wasn't. He was given a 6-year contract, and I think Sir Alex Ferguson made it plain that he wanted his successor, David Moyes, to be given so much time and patience. I think you get a sense that things weren't going at all well. Also, that dropping out the Champions League places, which was supposed to be a given. Also, you've got this summer rebuilding plan when you've got an ageing squad that needs refreshing. Do you trust a manager who's not done very well in his first season to spend that money? That's the issue, and that is why I think they've made the change now.
You could also tell things weren't going very well, and this massive banner, we've got some pictures of it now, was flown above Old Trafford not that long. It might have been last weekend, I think. And look at this one, wrong one, i.e. not the chosen one. Moyes out. I mean, Andrew, did you share that kind of vitriol and passion against David Moyes? What's wrong with him?
Well, I didn't agree with, obviously, flying a plane over. I thought there were better ways to protest. But I do think that he definitely had enough time to at least implement his own ideas and his own philosophy onto the team. And that philosophy wasn't working, didn't give me any hope for the future. And while at the time, I thought it was the right thing that Fergie was given the choice, you know, he was allowed to choose a successor, we all got behind him from the start. We all gave him time, and it's just not worked out, unfortunately.
But there's not just David Moyes, is it? What about all those men who are on the pitch? Do they not take any responsibility, John? What about the players? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are trying to score the goals or defend them. Completely.
And sadly, in football, you have this thing where the players are always exempt from blame in the fallout and the shake-up of things when they go wrong. I think the biggest accusation that you had against David Moyes was that he had lost the dressing room. And I have to say, in recent performances, particularly I think against Everton on Sunday, they weren't responding for him, I don't think. You could see in their performance or lack of it that they weren't playing for him. And I think once you reach that point, then the board has to make a change. But you're right, they must take so much blame.
Yeah, I mean, and we've had quite a few fewer comments on this, actually, Andrew. Let's get your opinion on what you think of Raymond Dixon via Facebook. He says it's disgusting, get rid of the players who conspire to get rid of him, get him sacked. Player power should be eradicated. I mean, they should have fallen behind him, shouldn't they? Are you as a fan, are you proud of how the players have reacted?
No, I think certain players have underperformed, definitely. I mean, given that how we won the title by 11 points last season, I mean, these are the same players. But at the same time, the same players need to be given a focus, they need to be given like a sort of a philosophy and ambition and something to strive for.
Is not playing for Manchester United enough?
It is, of course. You know, once they put on the red shirt, I expect 100%. But they're given a set of instructions and they're given, you know, a set of, you know, discipline rules to perform on a pitch. And when these aren't working, and you can see in certain matches this season, there was just no ideas on the pitch. The manager was incapable of changing things, and the players, obviously, while some of them did underperform, they just weren't given the right instructions. There was no inspiration from the sidelines.
And I suppose the reason why this is such big news, obviously for you, because you're a massive fan, but for the rest of the world's talking about this as well, John, is because Manchester United is probably the biggest club in the world, right? Financially, it makes the most money, and there's a lot of cash at stake. That's really what everyone's talking about, right?
Yeah, I think it's a global brand, isn't it? It's much more than just a football club. It's an institution. It's something that we look to as one of Britain's great exports, even if you like, really. It is an absolute phenomenon. And I think that to that end, I think the next appointment, whoever that may be, I think it has to be the right one to get Manchester United back to the top of the tree.
And Andrew, you're only 26 years old, so you've only ever known Alex Ferguson, right? So no wonder you're gutted.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's just it's the first time I've had to go through this in my life. It's just such a shock. Like
so what do you think of this? This is from Cameron Ahmed, again on Facebook. He says the board at Man U will be bringing in a new manager every 6 months at this rate. They should install some revolving doors at the manager's office. Is he right? Is that a foreboding premonition?
Yeah, I think it's a bit extreme. I think the board could have sacked him at any point in the last 6 months, but they waited and waited until it got to a point where it was just untenable. And now, you know, now it's mathematically impossible. Now we're not being in the Champions League, and we cannot get to the point where that is the objective. That has to be still the minimum requirement. Super
briefly, John, can anyone fill Sir Alex's boots? That's the problem, isn't it?
It is, and that's the expectation. I think they'll look to Louis van Gaal next. He'll be the next manager, and someone statesman-like, a real big name, if you like. And I think that's what they'll expect him to do to try and fill Fergie's boots.
Okay.